The mother and the chains. The prison cell was cold, dark, and smelled like old metal. Water dripped from the ceiling, echoing through the hallway. In one corner of the cell, a woman with silver skin and glowing violet eyes sat on her knees. Her wrists were locked in heavy metal cuffs. Her long white hair was dirty and stuck to her face. She was shaking, not because of the cold, but because of fear. Her name was Lyra. She was not human. She was from the planet Velthra, a peaceful race known for healing and farming. But now she was just a prisoner. Next to her, a small boy hid. Behind her back, he was her son. His tiny arms wrapped around her waist tightly. He didn't speak. He just cried softly, trying to stay quiet. The metal door to the cell groaned open. Heavy footsteps echoed on the stone floor. A tall human soldier stepped in. His face was hard, his jaw square. His uniform was black and the badge on his shoulder said Enforcer Unit Sector 9. His name was Marcus. Everyone in the zone feared Marcus. He never smiled. He never hesitated. He followed orders without question. If someone broke the law, he made sure they paid for it. But this time, something in his eyes was different. Lyra looked up at him. Her lips were dry. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Please, punish me, not my son." Marcus didn't speak. His cold eyes dropped to the boy clinging to her. The boy looked up at him, big, innocent, scared eyes. He couldn't be more than 6 years old. Marcus read the report again. Alien child stole military food. His mother attacked a guard to protect him. Both taken into custody. Awaiting sentence. The penalty for stealing from the military was clear. For aliens, there was no trial. Just punishment. Marcus stepped forward. Lyra tensed. She pulled her child behind her like a shield. Her cuffs rattled. "Please," she begged again, louder now. "He's just a child. He was hungry. I told him not to." He didn't understand the danger. Still, Marcus said nothing. Lyra's heart beat faster. Was this the moment she would die? Or worse, watch her son be taken away? She couldn't let that happen. Not again. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I'll do anything," she said. "Just don't hurt him. I'll take the punishment, all of it." There was a long silence. Then Marcus did something strange. He slowly bent down on one knee. Now he was eye level with the boy. "What's your name?" Marcus asked. His voice low. The boy didn't answer. "It's okay," Marcus said. His tone was not cruel this time. "I'm not here to hurt you." The boy whispered, "Turin." Marcus looked at the child for a few seconds longer, then stood up. His face turned hard again. Without saying another word, he turned and walked out of the cell. The door slammed shut. Lyra sat frozen, holding her son tight. What just happened? Why didn't he punish them? Back in the control room, Marcus stared at the screen. The footage of Lyra and her son played over and over. Something about them kept bothering him. He remembered something long buried, something from when he was a child himself. He had once been the boy in chains. He had once looked up at alien guards, begging for his mother's life. But no one helped them. No one showed mercy. Now he was the one holding power. The one who could choose. Marcus took a deep breath. He opened a report file and typed quickly. Subject: Lyra of Velthra. Child: Turin. After further review, I conclude that the child acted alone, driven by extreme hunger. Mother attempted to stop the incident. Recommendation: child to be released to refugee camp. Mother to be relocated to temporary holding. No. Further action required. He clicked submit. He had just broken protocol. If command found out, he could be court-martialed. But he didn't care. For once, he had listened to his heart. In the prison cell, Lyra hugged her son close. He had fallen asleep in her arms. She looked at the door and whispered to herself, "Why did he let us go?" She didn't know the answer. But for the first time in many years, She felt a small light of hope. Somewhere deep inside a cold human soldier was still a warm human heart. Marcus sat alone in his small office, staring at the blinking screen in front of him. The lights above hummed softly, and outside the window, the night on the station was quiet. But inside his mind, there was noise, memories, sounds he hadn't heard in years. He had lied in his report just to protect a mother and her son. Why? Why now, after all these years of silence and duty? After all the orders he had followed without question? He closed his eyes, and the memory came back again. He was 10 years old, hiding under a broken table in a burning village. The air was filled with smoke and screams. Alien soldiers in black armor marched through the streets. His mother had covered him with her own body, telling him not to move. A soldier had pulled her away. She fought. She screamed. She begged. "Punish me, not my son," she had cried, but no one listened. She was dragged away, and Marcus never saw her again. Now, after all these years, another mother had said the same words. In the same voice, "Punish me, not my son." He opened his eyes, breathing hard. That woman Lyra didn't know it, but she had brought something back to life in him. A part he had buried deep. He stood up, walked to the sink, and splashed cold water on his face. The image of the little boy, Turin, wouldn't leave his mind. He wasn't just some alien child. He was like Marcus had once been, alone, afraid, innocent. The next morning, Marcus walked into the refugee camp located in the lower deck of the station. It wasn't meant for comfort. Just cold metal walls, thin beds, and long lines of aliens waiting for food or medicine. He moved through the cold metal walls, thin beds, and long lines of aliens waiting for food or medicine. Crowd until he saw a familiar pair of violet eyes. T-R-E-N. The boy sat on a small bench, holding a cup of warm broth. He looked smaller in the crowd, lost. His clothes were too big, and his hands trembled as he ate. Marcus walked over and sat beside him. The boy looked up and froze. "Do you remember me?" Marcus asked. Turin nodded quietly. "I'm not going to hurt you," Marcus said. "I just wanted to check on you." Turin didn't speak, but his eyes studied Marcus closely. "My name is Marcus," he said after a pause. "I had a brother once. He looked just like you." Turin blinked. "What happened to him?" Marcus hesitated. "He didn't survive," he said softly. "Bad people took him away." Turin lowered his eyes. Marcus cleared his throat. "Your mother, she's safe, for now, but I can't keep her here long. My commanders will find out soon." Turin looked up again. "Will they take her?" "I won't let them," Marcus said, more like a promise than a fact. He stood up. "Eat. I'll come back." Meanwhile, in the higher levels of the station, another officer was watching. Lieutenant Harvin was smart and suspicious. He had seen Marcus acting strange, visiting alien cells without reason, talking to the boy. Harvin had worked with Marcus for 3 years. He had always been strict, cold, a perfect soldier. But now something was off. He began pulling video logs. He watched Marcus kneeling in the prison cell. He watched him talk to the boy, and he didn't like it. "Looks like our enforcer has a soft spot," Harvin said, narrowing his eyes. He printed a copy of the prison report. He would take it straight to command. That evening, Marcus visited the storage hangar in secret. He met a contact, an older man with cybernetic arms. "Do you have the ship?" Marcus asked. The man nodded. "Small cargo shuttle." "No questions asked, but it won't be cheap." Marcus handed over a data stick. "It's all I have. Who are you trying to get out?" The man asked. "A mother and her son." The man raised a brow. "Dangerous?" Marcus shook his head. "No, just hunted." The man sighed. "You're crazy, enforcer. You're gonna lose everything for them." Marcus looked away. "Maybe I already did." Later that night, Marcus returned to his quarters and found his door slightly open. He pulled his weapon and stepped inside. Harvin was sitting in his chair. "I saw the report," Harvin said. "You lied." Marcus didn't respond. "Helping aliens now?" Harvin asked, "What happened to you?" "Leave," Marcus said. Harvin stood. "You're risking your life for some alien mother. You think that'll make you a hero?" "No," Marcus said, lowering his weapon. "It just makes me human." Harvin walked past him slowly. "You've got 48 hours, Marcus. Then I'm reporting everything." The door closed behind him. Marcus stood in silence. The clock had started ticking. Now. There was no going back. Night on the space station felt like a deep breath held too long. Lights dimmed, machines whispered, and silence filled the cold steel halls. Marcus moved quietly through the maintenance corridor, one hand on his belt, the other holding a small device that blinked red. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he had no choice. He reached a locked door marked, "Storage no access." With a flick of his wrist, the device buzzed. The door slid open. Inside was a small chamber, dusty and filled with spare parts. In the corner stood a man wrapped in a thick jacket, goggles on his forehead, fingers tapping on a cracked datapad. The man turned slowly. "You brought trouble to my door, Enforcer," Marcus nodded. "I know Tove." Tove was no ordinary mechanic. Years ago, he had worked for smugglers, helping hide people and ships. Now he fixed trash units for the military until someone like Marcus came looking for a favor. "I need a way off this station." "Quietly," Marcus said. Tove smirked. "For you or for someone else?" "For a mother and her child." Tove's smile faded. "Alien? Yes." The room fell silent for a moment. Then Tove let out a slow breath. "You really have gone soft." Marcus stepped forward. "They'll die if they stay here." "I don't care what it costs me." Tove scratched his beard. "There's a cargo shuttle leaving in 2 nights. Old codes, no questions. You'll need clearance and distraction." "I can handle the clearance," Marcus said. "And the distraction?" Tove asked. Marcus looked away. "I'll figure it out." Elsewhere, Lyra sat alone in her new holding cell. It was cleaner than before, but still cold and empty. Her arms ached from the cuffs, and her heart ached more. She didn't know where her son was, or if he was safe. She had seen the human Marcus only once more since the night in the cage. He had said nothing. Just looked at her through the glass. Why? Did he care? Why would a human break the rules to protect an alien mother? She closed her eyes and whispered a prayer in her native tongue. "Guide me. Show me who he is." Footsteps echoed in the hallway. She looked up as Marcus entered. This time, he spoke. "You were a healer on Velthra," he said quietly. She didn't answer. "I know your name wasn't on any rebel list," he continued. "But I dug deeper. I found a record. You helped wounded soldiers, including humans, during the Battle of Oran Field." She blinked, surprised. "That was a long time ago," Marcus nodded. "You could have let them die, but you didn't." "I didn't care what species they were," she said. "They were bleeding." Marcus looked into her eyes. "I was one of them." Silence. Lyra's hands trembled slightly. "I remember a boy. He had a wound on his shoulder. I helped him breathe." "Again." "That was me," Marcus said. She stepped back slowly, stunned. "I didn't know." "I never forgot your face," he said. "Even though it was dirty, even though I was afraid." I remembered. Tears formed in Lyra's eyes. Marcus stepped closer. "Now I want to return the favor. I'm getting you out, you and your son." She looked around, confused. "How?" "I have a contact. We have 2 nights, but it's dangerous. If you stay, they'll separate you, maybe execute you. If we run and fail, they'll do worse." Lyra didn't need time to think. "I'll go." Meanwhile, Harvin wasn't sleeping. He was watching. He saw Marcus visiting the prisoner. He saw him bypassing checkpoints. He followed Marcus's shadow like a hunter. Then he made a call to command. "Sir," Harvin said, voice cold. "I believe. Our enforcer is planning to help an alien escape. Evidence?" "Not yet, but give me time. I'll catch him in the act." "Good," the voice on the other end replied. "We don't just want proof. We want a public example. Let the others see what happens to traitors." Marcus returned to the refugee zone. He found Turin in the corner, playing with scraps of wire. The boy looked up and smiled a small, shy smile that made Marcus pause. "You're okay?" "Marcus." The boy nodded. "Some humans here are nice. They gave me soup." "That's good," Marcus said. "But we won't stay long." "We're leaving." Turin stood up quickly. "My mom too." "Yes, I promised you both." Turin stepped forward and did something unexpected. He hugged Marcus. It was awkward, quick, but real. Marcus had no words. The boy pulled back and said, "You're not like the others." Marcus knelt down. "No, I'm not." Later, in his quarters, Marcus packed a small bag. One blaster, a dataship with fake IDs, and a photo of his brother long gone, but never forgotten. He stared at it for a long time. "I couldn't save you," he whispered. "But maybe I can save them." Then he shut off the light. 2 nights left, and shadows were closing in. The station's heartbeat thumped quietly beneath their feet. Pipes hissed. Steam leaked from old vents, and dim lights flickered overhead. It was 1 hour before curfew. Just enough time. Marcus stood at the edge of Hangar B, dressed like a transport technician. He wore an orange suit, grease on his hands, a fake ID badge clipped to his chest. His real name was hidden now, his past buried, his future uncertain. Behind him, Lyra stepped out of a side passage wrapped in a faded worker's cloak. Her white hair was tucked into a cloth cap. Her glowing violet eyes were hidden behind dark lenses. Her son, Turin, clutched her hand and followed closely. He was wearing a cargo box disguise over his shoulders, wires sticking out like a broken drone. Marcus gave them a nod. "No one will check you," he whispered. "You're just another shipment going to the lower colonies." Lyra looked up at him. "Are you sure this will work?" "No," Marcus replied honestly. "But it's the best chance we've got." She gave a small nod and squeezed Turin's hand tighter. Inside the hangar, workers moved fast. Big crates were loaded onto the shuttle. 2 guards stood by, laughing and checking manifests. The escape shuttle, painted with fake transport codes, waited at Dock 7. Its engine lights were already warming up. Tove had done his job well. Marcus walked toward the guards, holding a datapad. Final delivery. Clearance code VX127. The older guard looked at him with tired eyes. "You're late." "Traffic in the upper rings," Marcus said. "Nothing ever works right up there." The guard scanned the pad, then yawned. "Whatever. Just get it on board." Behind them, Lyra and Turin moved silently with the cargo, blending in with the crates. Just as they stepped up the ramp into the shuttle, "Wait!" Marcus's heart skipped. It was Lieutenant Harvin. He walked into the hangar, eyes sharp, hands behind his back. "Interesting time for a supply drop, don't you think?" Harvin said. Marcus smiled tightly. "You know how it is. Paperwork doesn't sleep." Harvin stepped closer. "Funny thing. I just got a message from Central Security. Someone used your access code in a restricted area earlier." Marcus shrugged. "Probably a glitch. You know how these systems are." Harvin's eyes narrowed. "Mind if I inspect the cargo?" Marcus froze. Every muscle in his body screamed no, but his voice stayed calm. "Be my guest." Harvin nodded and walked up the shuttle ramp. Lyra saw him coming. Her breath caught in her throat. She gently pushed Turin deeper into the stack of boxes. Harvin opened a crate. Old wiring. He opened another. Broken metal rods. He moved to the next, reached out. Before he could lift the lid, boom. A loud explosion shook the hangar. Lights blinked out. Red alarms flashed. What the hell? One of the guards shouted. Smoke poured from the back of the hangar. Tove's timed charge. Marcus grabbed Harvin by the shoulder. We need to evacuate. That blast may have hit the fuel line. Harvin tried to pull away. Let go. I'm saving your life, Marcus shouted, forcing him toward the exit. In the confusion, Lyra and Turin slipped into the shuttle's storage bay and locked the hatch. Marcus punched the door panel, sealing it. Harvin finally shoved Marcus back. This isn't over. No, Marcus said under his breath. It's just beginning. The shuttle lifted off quietly during the chaos. It drifted out into the stars like any other supply drone. No one noticed. Inside the ship, Lyra held Turin close. We did it, she whispered, tears running down her cheeks. We're free. Back at the station, the alarms died down. Harvin stormed into Marcus's quarters and found nothing but a data chip left on the desk. It was a message. By the time you read this, they'll be gone. Safe. I broke your rules because I remember what they did to my mother. I won't stand by again. If that makes me a traitor, so be it. Marcus, Harvin clenched his jaw. You think this is the end? He growled. You just started a war. Out in deep space, the shuttle entered the free zone, a part of space not controlled by humans or aliens. A place where people vanished, started over, or built new homes. Marcus stepped out of the hidden compartment in the ship. You're alive, Lyra said in shock. He smiled, exhausted. Barely, but I couldn't let you go alone. Turin ran to him and hugged his leg. I thought you stayed behind. Marcus patted his head. I promised, didn't I? Lyra looked at him with new eyes. You gave up everything. No, Marcus said. I finally found something worth keeping. She took his hand gently. You're not like the others. I hope not, he said quietly. The stars looked peaceful from the outside. But inside the stolen shuttle, nothing was calm. Marcus paced the narrow aisle, checking systems, scanning for trackers, wiping logs. Sweat rolled down his back. Every second counted. They had slipped out of the station during the chaos. Yes, but now came the real danger. Getting far enough before command realized what he had done. The shuttle was slow, old. One engine coughed now and then like a sick animal. It wasn't built for fast travel. It was meant for garbage runs, not for smuggling a mother and child to freedom. He looked back at them. Lyra sat in a jump seat, holding her son tight. Her white hair had come loose from her cap, and her eyes no longer looked afraid, just tired. Turin was wrapped in a thermal blanket. He didn't speak much, but he kept glancing at Marcus like he was trying to understand who or what this human really was. Marcus sat beside them. We're clear of the station sensors, for now, Lyra nodded. Where are we going? There's a moon, he said. Old mining colony, abandoned. Some refugees hide there. They don't ask questions. And after that? She asked. Marcus didn't answer right away. He finally said, You stay, I leave. Lyra blinked. You're not staying with us? I'll draw attention, he said. As long as I'm near you, you'll never be safe. They'll be hunting me. Turin tugged Marcus's sleeve. But you saved us. Marcus gave him a small smile. That was my choice. Now I have to keep you safe again by staying away. Lyra looked down. I didn't expect to owe a human my life. You don't, Marcus said softly. You just reminded me that I still had one. An hour later, Marcus checked the scanner again. Something blinked red. No. A ship. Fast. Closing in from behind. He slammed the control panel. They found us. How? Lyra asked, standing. They must have planted a silent tracker during maintenance, Marcus said, cursing. Under his breath, Turin gripped the seat. What do we do? Marcus didn't answer right away. Then he ran to the back of the shuttle, opened a panel, and pulled out a crate. Inside was a smaller escape pod 1 designed for emergencies. 1 adult, 1 child. No weapons. No power signature. Dragged it to the middle of the ship. You two are getting in, he said. No, Lyra said, stepping back. We're not leaving you behind. You have to, he said sharply. They'll destroy this ship if I don't stop them. You can come with us. They'll track me. Not you. This pod is invisible. I bought it from black market smugglers for a reason. They can't see it. But if I'm inside, they'll trace the heat signature. He grabbed Turin gently. You have to protect your mother now. Turin shook his head. No, I want you to come. Marcus put both hands on the boy's shoulders. You have to trust me, like I trusted you. Lyra stood frozen, pain in her eyes. You don't have to die for us. Marcus gave her a sad smile. I'm not dying, I'm just finishing what I started. Within minutes, Marcus had loaded food, water, and a nav chip into the pod. He knelt one last time beside Turin. I had a brother once, he whispered. You remind me of him. Turin threw his arms around Marcus and held on tight. Marcus closed his eyes. This was harder than he thought. Lyra touched his shoulder. You saved us, Marcus. We won't forget you. Don't tell anyone who helped you, he said. Change your names, start fresh. Then he locked them inside and launched the pod. It shot silently into space, hidden from all sensors. Minutes later, the enemy ship arrived. It was black, shaped like a blade, and moved like a predator. It hailed the shuttle, unregistered vessel, identify. Marcus sat in the pilot seat and smiled. Enforcer Marcus Tyne, retired. Static filled the air. Then the voice returned. You are under arrest. Prepare to be boarded. No, Marcus said calmly. I think I'll pass. He activated the ship's emergency pulse. A burst of electronic noise meant to wipe all records. As the enemy ship approached, Marcus powered down. No weapons. No resistance. Just silence. Far away, inside the pod, Lyra and Turin floated quietly. Through the stars, the moon Marcus had mentioned was ahead. Lights flickered on its dusty surface. Will we see him again? Turin whispered. Lyra wrapped her arms around him. I don't know, she said, but he gave us this chance. We have to make it count. Back on the enemy ship, officers boarded the empty shuttle. They found nothing, no passengers. No cargo. No sign of the alien mother or her son. Just one datapad left behind, locked with a message. Sometimes mercy is louder than war. Asterisk, the courtroom on Central Command Station was made of glass and steel. Cold, bright, clean, but it felt like a cage. Marcus stood in the center, wrists cuffed, back straight, eyes forward. Soldiers lined the walls. Officers in silver coats sat at a long table, whispering. A judge stood high above them, hidden behind a screen. His voice echoed through hidden speakers. You are Enforcer Marcus Tyne, charged with treason, dereliction of duty, falsifying military records, and aiding alien fugitives. How do you plead? Marcus didn't blink. Guilty. A quiet shock moved through the room. No excuse. No lies, just the truth. Lieutenant Harvin sat in the front row, arms crossed. He wore a smug smile, pleased with himself. To him, Marcus was a disgrace. A traitor. Proof that even the strongest humans could fall. Another officer leaned in and whispered, why would he admit it like that? Harvin smirked, because he knows he's finished. Behind a tinted observation glass, far above the courtroom, someone else watched silently. It was General Ulrich's guard, quiet and older than most of the officers below. He had fought in the first alien wars. He had seen cities burn and children scream. And he had seen something else, something that never left him. A woman with violet eyes, kneeling in a crater, healing a child who wasn't her own. Her name was never known. Until now. He tapped a button on his desk. Find me the prisoner's records. I want to see the full story. Back in the courtroom, the prosecutor stood. Let the record show that Marcus Tyne, once one of our most loyal soldiers, knowingly betrayed human command to assist an alien woman and her son in escaping custody. He destroyed military property, broke security protocol, and endangered future operations. This man is not a hero. He is a threat. Some officers nodded. Others stayed silent. The judge spoke again. Do you have anything to say before sentencing? Marcus lifted his head. Yes. He looked around the room. I grew up in a burned village. My mother begged for mercy. She was dragged away. No one stopped them. I became a soldier so that would never happen again. But I became like the ones who took her, cold, silent, obedient. He took a breath. Then I met a woman. She said the same words my mother once did. Punish me, not my son. And I remembered who I really was. A human, not a machine. He looked directly at the judge's screen. If saving a child's life makes me guilty, then I accept whatever comes next. Silence. Long. Uncomfortable. Then the judge's voice returned. Court will recess for 1 hour. Marcus was led away. In a private chamber. General Ulrich read through files. Lyra, a VELTHR. He saw old records, hidden reports, battle data, a list of unrecognized acts of mercy during the Oran field battle. Among them was one note, human. Child found alive due to unknown Velthrin healer. Refused to give her name. He pressed a button. A hologram played. A young Marcus wounded, carried by medics. Behind him in the distance, a glowing-eyed woman knelt in smoke and ash. Ulrich's jaw tightened. He stood slowly. This trial isn't justice, it's fear. An hour later, court resumed. The judge began. Marcus, tying for your crimes against the United Command. Wait. A voice echoed from the chamber doors. Everyone turned. General Ulrich entered. Walking with a cane, medals across his chest. He rarely appeared at trials. The judge paused. General, this is highly irregular. I'm invoking command override, Ulrich said. Article 9, Wartime Mercy Clause. Murmurs exploded. Across the room, Ulrich stood before Marcus and faced the court. I served in 3 wars. I watched enemies become allies and allies become monsters. But I never forgot the woman who saved a human boy in the mud while bombs fell. That woman was Lyra, and that boy was Marcus. He turned to the judge. He didn't commit treason. He honored a debt. The judge was silent. Then, command override accepted. Marcus Tyne will not face execution. He is hereby discharged with full exile status. No return to active duty. No further contact with command. Marcus bowed his head. Freedom, but at a cost. After the trial, Marcus was given a small transport pod and a simple message. Leave within 24 hours. Never return. He didn't argue. He sat in the pod staring at the stars. Alone now. Again. But somewhere out there, a boy named Turin was alive. A woman named Lyra was safe. And for the first time in years, Marcus felt something in his chest. Peace. Back on the quiet moon. Lyra stood near a metal shelter as the sun rose. She felt a pull in her heart. A knowing, is he okay? Turin asked. She nodded slowly. Yes, he's free. The sky above the small moon was pale blue, dotted with soft clouds. Birds brought in by refugees long ago flew over the dry hills. The land was quiet. Safe. Lyra stood outside a small stone shelter with a water pump beside it. Her sleeves were rolled up, her hands covered in soil. Around her were rows of green plants, corn, herbs, and tiny fruits. She had turned this land, once dry and forgotten, into something alive. Turin ran past her, laughing, chasing a robotic chicken that clucked as it moved. He was taller now, stronger. His eyes still held that spark of wonder. Careful. Lyra called. I got it, he shouted back. She smiled. Life was hard here, but it was theirs. No cages, no soldiers. No running. Still, every morning she looked at the sky, wondering, would Marcus ever return? Would she ever get the chance to say thank you, Again? Far across the galaxy, on a desert planet's edge, Marcus worked quietly in a mechanic's shop. The owner was blind, but he could hear lies from a mile away, and Marcus had told him none. He went by another name, now Kale, just a man fixing broken engines. Sleeping under old roofs. Talking little dot, no one knew he had once stood before a military court. Accused of betraying humanity dot, no one knew he had once saved an alien mother and her son. He didn't care dot at night. He sat on a small bench outside the shop, looking up at the stars. Sometimes he imagined a boy laughing, a woman smiling, a garden growing on a moon no one remembered. He never sent messages. Too dangerous. But in his heart, he sent a wish. Let them be free. Let them be whole. Back on the moon, things began to change. More refugees arrived. A new shelter was built. People came with little, but Lyra shared what she had. Seeds, water, kindness. Turin helped build a school out of metal scraps. He taught younger children how to read, how to fix broken tools, how to dream. One day, while helping stack bricks, a boy asked, "Is it true your mom was saved by a human?" Turin paused, smiled, and said, "He didn't save just my mom. He saved me too, and maybe even himself." The boy blinked. "What was his name?" Turin didn't answer right away. Then softly he said, "His name doesn't matter. What he did does." Seasons passed. One morning, as Lyra was digging near the waterline, she saw something strange. A ship, small, old, rust-colored dot landed. Quietly outside the village, her heart stopped. She walked slowly toward it, breath shaking. The hatch opened. A man stepped out. Dust on his boots, sunburned skin, a rough beard. But the eyes, those same tired, deep eyes. Marcus. He looked at her. "Unsure. I wasn't followed," he said. I had to see it. With my own eyes." Lyra didn't speak. Tears filled her eyes. She took a step forward, then another. Then she threw her arms around him. He stiffened, then slowly hugged her back. No words. Just warmth. Just home. Later, they sat under the shade of a tree, watching Turin chase butterflies with other children. "He's grown," Marcus said. "You missed the hard parts." Lyra teased gently. "I missed everything," he replied. She looked at him. "Why now?" "I waited," he said. "I waited until no one was watching, until I was sure I wouldn't bring danger." She reached out, touching his hand. "You didn't just save us," she said. "You gave us time to build a life." He looked down. "I don't belong anywhere anymore." "You do now," she whispered. Marcus stayed. At first, people didn't know what to make of him. A quiet man with scars and silence. But over time, they saw him fix broken walls, teach children to fish, carry heavy stones without being asked. Never asked for thanks. He never wanted praise. But they gave him something else. Trust. Years passed. One evening, Turin stood at the edge of the village. Now a teenager with strong shoulders and bright eyes. A younger child stood beside him, crying. Turin knelt, wiped the tears, and said, "It's okay, you're safe now. We take care of each other here." Behind them, Marcus and Lyra watched. "She taught him to care," Marcus said softly. Lyra smiled. "And you taught him when to be brave." He turned to her. "I used to think I lost my life when I left the army. And now?" She asked. "I think I started living after that day in the cage." One night, under the stars, Turin asked Marcus, "Do you ever wish things were different?" Marcus looked at the sky. "No," he said. "Because if things were different, I never would have met your mother." Turin smiled. "She says you're the reason I'm alive." "No," Marcus said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You're the reason I kept going." And in the silence of that quiet moon, a new future began, built not on war or fear, but on kindness, courage, and the choice to do what was right. Even when it was hard. Because sometimes one human heart is enough. to change a world.